afternoon and welcome to the Smite Pro League, the European style. My name is going to be F. His name will be Anatoly, as it always has been. And we're going to get into it right away. We've got Paradigm taking on Torpedo today. Should be an interesting one.
It should definitely be interesting. Paradigm, unfortunately, a little bit inconsistent in the last couple of games. 1-1 against Cringe Crew, 2-0 against Hungry for More, and then 0-2 against Hungry for More.
Yeah, we've seen Paradigm struggle recently in the past couple of weeks. They've tried to sort of find their footing, but it's been a little bit unfortunate if you're a fan of Paradigm. Torpedo, on the other hand, this team, I mean, the joke has become the fact that they just split almost all of their series, which is very, very interesting if you go ahead and look at it. Torpedo have wound up on the bottom of the league, as we said, 4-10, but they do manage to find wins against virtually everybody.
They do find some wins here and there, and now they're going through a little bit of a roster stock. We have Moex switching with Gamehunter, now taking into the solo lane. Gamehunter known usually for that solo lane position, but he has been playing Hunters in the past. In the recent game that they had against Cringe Crew, they lost 0-2, but Gamehunter played really well in the position. Moex, however, did not have that same success.
Yeah, should be pretty interesting going forward. Unsure if the role swap is going to stick around for Torpedo. It was voiced as sort of an experiment. This will be the same situation going forward into this week as well. So still, I think this team is sort of experimenting with it. I don't necessarily know if it's permanent. We haven't heard anything, but Gamehunter moving over into the Hunter role, and then Moex on the other side of the map did look pretty interesting from this perspective, watching them play last week.
His team fights were pretty good. His early laning phase struggled a little bit against Axio, so that's something that he has to work on. We'll see if this game has improved at all.
That's what we're looking for. Role swap on Torpedo. Paradigm, can they bounce back? We'll get into it right away.
Good purification from Zeros. Snipe connected from Korinyo to confirm it. Bobat is dead. He's going to use purification while in the air. Big shield from Murrdurr keeps him alive. Though, and a cataclysm too. Great play from Murrdurr. Big ultimate onto Jungle, who gets knocked up as well. Evaporated. Drums of Warcraft and Cherio Bobat actually to find that one.
Left side, Paradigm. They're going to be on the order squad. They will be your order squad, with the first pick at the first ban, and Torpedo will be looking at number 2.
I'm predicting that Paradigm is going to go for an Apollo ban in this situation when you have Gamehunter on the enemy team, and right as I say that, there it is.
Yeah, the Apollo has proven to be very, very strong for these guys going forward. Not just on Gamehunter in the solo lane, but on Gamehunter in the Hunter role as well. Proven to be very, very powerful, just in his ability to either build differently, sometimes with the hide of the Urchin, or traditionally and able to just do what Apollo does.
His split push is very strong, both Apollo and Gamehunter. We do have a Khepri ban coming out of Torpedo, but it's very difficult to ban out Trixtank. He likes to lean on Warriors. In fact, all of Paradigm likes to lean on Warriors. In their last series, they even ran a triple Warrior frontline, which wasn't very successful. However, we'll see how they adapted it. With the Soul first pick, that could be a flex.
That could definitely be a flex. Paradigm, Funballer has played this character. Lawbster's played it a little bit. I tend to associate Chronos a little bit more with Lawbster as far as the in-hand mages are concerned. But Soul, nonetheless, tons of wave clear will be selected, and Torpedo will go ahead and call the bluff of Paradigm. We're not sure if Soul is going mid or in the long lane, but we'll take Chronos just in case, because both Lawbster and Funball like to play that character.
Indeed they do, and a lot of European teams lean on early Soul and early Chronos picks because of that flexibility, and they're very comfortable having that jungler, especially Thor, trying to set them up in the early to mid game. That's where they struggle, the Soul and the Chronos, but when you have a jungler like Thor with a long range stun setup, it makes it easier to transition into the mid game.
Batz going to do well in the mid game as well. Pretty much all game as long as he's after level 5. Fear No Evil, a huge part of what he's able to bring to the table. And Ho-Yi will be the selection for Funball. He's really stuck to this character a lot of just power coming out from both basic attacks and abilities.
So we see a lot of circles coming out of Paradigm already with the Batz and the Ho-Yi. It wouldn't surprise me here if Paradigm were to pick up an Odin to complement this kind of style that they already have. Athena going to get locked in for Torpedo.
And we know the Trixtank does like to go the way of those warriors, so Odin's still definitely on the table. As long as Torpedo doesn't ban him out right here,
it looks like they're going to ban out Guan Yu instead, not fearing the Odin warrior, but it's going to be a different warrior. Trixtank also known to play Guan Yu, a very aggressive all-in style god, and with the sustain being very annoying to deal with, they just take that off the table.
Tyr's going to be banned out, likely looking at the solo lane, not necessarily at Moex specifically, but Tyr in general. is a very good pick. Largely offensive warrior, but can do a lot of utility as well. Fearless being extremely strong.
And they already have a lot of CC between the Athena, the Thor, and the Chronos. If you add a tier on top of that, just people flying around all over the place. So good ban coming out of Paradigm.
Anhur joins the squad for Torpedo, perhaps anticipating maybe an Odin pick for Paradigm as they select Bellona for their solo lane. And the last choice for Paradigm, unless we see the Bellona support, which honestly Trix has thought about in the past, no lie, it will be the Bacchus support. So no Odin for you, but still a very aggressive, damage-oriented support character.
Sticking to their bread and butter is Paradigm. Trixtank known for his Bacchus support. He building up them pen boots, stacking up his passive Drunko meter is going to give him an extra magical power, and he likes to go all in. He has a lot of kills on Bacchus. There was a game specifically where he had the most kills of the game, and he was playing Bacchus.
Hercules, we'll see him for the second time today. Last time Omega brought him into the jungle. This time we'll see Hercules likely in the solo lane with that Thor. Pretty much jungle is dictated already. So Paradigm, they've got a nice composition. Who do you think, which team do you have just based off of draft alone?
I like the CC coming out of Torpedo. They didn't have the tier, but they complemented that with the Hercules instead. I'm leaning more towards Torpedo for CC. However, Paradigm has really good late game burst between the Hu Yi and the Soul.
Will it be the late game burst or the crowd control coming out of Torpedo? We'll find out. 1 out of 2 coming up.
Xaliea with a good silence, keeping Axios in an awkward position. Swammers are making it come up big. One more hit, he will die as well to Xaliea, who gets a double.
Run away, Xalia's coming. He got him again! Blind shot in the dark finds the kill.
Trixtank is there, still stunned, but it doesn't matter. Funballer finds the last hit, and then he finds a beautiful stun on Variety as well. He can't even get Lawbringer off.
Welcome to the battleground of the gods. QvoFred already sniffing out the opposition, forced to hammer away with NinjaBobat, so he'll go ahead and have Mjolnir's Attunement available for him. Paradigm, as we said, everybody in their right spots, as you would assume. The Soul does find her way over into the mid lane. Torpedo, again, a very standard composition if you ask this particular commentator. Nothing really out of place for either of these teams, which might be surprising if you're used to watching Paradigm play very odd picks.
Nothing too fancy this game. Sometimes we'll see Paradigm run gods such as Kabrakan, whether that's jungle or solo. QvoFred and Xaliea leaning towards those kinds of styles. Sometimes we see warrior supports coming out of Trixtank. Season 2, we've even seen some Thor supports coming out of him and where he's been able to carry those games. Not going to find it this game, however.
Actually, I'll go ahead and I'll take that back. Korinyo and Gamehunter actually will be switching things around, and more likely to see, well, Chronos really switches between the long lane and the middle lane, but Anhur, we've really only seen him in the duo lane outside of basically Korinyo. He's really enjoyed this Anhur mid. We've seen it once or twice before in the 3rd season, and I really like what he's able to bring with the mid Anhur.
It means that Torpedo is going to be leaning to play more aggressive in the situation. Chronos does a lot of damage in the early game when you're complemented by Thor. However, Anhur will deal even more. They're looking to shut down this Soul in the early game, potentially.
And I mean, Anhur has a very strong mid-game specifically. All hunters wind up being successful come late game, but in that mid-game, that's really where Anhur gets to flex his stuff. So look for early and mid-game, look for a lot of aggression coming out of Torpedo, like you said. Jump forward, speaking of aggression, Murrdurr finds himself in trouble. Funball lands a whole bunch of basics and an early shell forced out from the Athena, so that relic will be on cooldown for another 100.
And before the early shell, we had Trixtank pop the earlier meditation trying to be aggressive. They got the wave clear, they extended it for a little bit of poke onto Murrdurr, nothing too much, but they're going to be able to clear with this aggression.
Stun coming out, not just yet, no Drunko meter brought to you to the Bacchus.
And we do see a little bit of a rotation by both the middle and junglers, just electing to do their back camps in the solo side. We do have a 3-man grouping.
QvoFred's going to share the boar with his solo laner. Mid lane decided to make the rotation, looking for those elementals, but they were already taken by Torpedo, so unable to find that extra experience.
I feel like Torpedo should be able to play aggressive against the Soul, especially when they don't see the Hunbats. They saw the Hunbats over the ward, so they knew the Soul was isolated. A little bit of a missed opportunity.
Gamehunter very low this time around, going for the jump, doesn't need it. Funball finds the kill, first blood, going the way of Paradigm, an early spill for Gamehunter.
And
140.
That first blood went to the Hu Yi, so he's going to be able to get that power spike with the Warrior Tabby. The mobility is going to be really powerful. If he transitions into rotating to a team fight in the mid lane, the left side mid Harpies, that could put Paradigm even more ahead.
500 gold for that first blood. It really gives you a nice catalyst to go ahead and take a look at where you go. And honestly, when you have Bacchus in the duo lane, I don't mind whoever gets that first blood. If your Hunter goes ahead, like you said, the power spike with the Warrior Tabby, and then Bacchus getting boots early, certainly not a problem having that extra penetration. So Paradigm put the first blood where they want it, in the duo lane on Hu Yi.
We see a grouping in mid lane. Soul might be just looking to play aggressive, just poking out Korinyo there. And speaking of the Chronos, now that he's shut down a little bit, his purification is down, so they can exploit that for the next 100 seconds as well, looking for that second kill. And if they can find it, Gamehunter is going to be almost out of the game completely.
Batz hanging out on the right side. QvoFred trying not to be seen by the Hercules. Moex going to be pushing up again. Moex is relatively new to this role, at least on the SPL stage. We saw him last time around. Wasn't exactly the top player on his squad, but was able to impact the game a little bit later. But everybody paid attention to him trying to find the ganks. That's what we're seeing out of Qvo. There's the ultimate. Overhand smash going to come with the damage as well. Half HP is a Hercules, and he's slowed on down. The heal is popped, and it doesn't look like there's going to be a kill. But I expect QvoFred to hang out on this side of the map a lot.
This reminded me of the earlier game where Moex, he gave up first blood to Axios in the earlier set against Cringe Crew. However, the second time around, the jungler came with a Neath ultimate just to put more pressure onto Moex, taking advantage of it. The only exception was that Bacchus jumping in.
Stun going both ways. Gamehunter going to narrowly avoid the Belch stun because of his own.
And the reason why is the purification is still down for the Chronos, so Paradigm recognizing this weakness, and Torpedo is trying to exploit it wide open.
Whether you get the kill or just get the ultimate, either way, you're in a good spot. Chronos ult is definitely one of those ultimates that you remove from the opposition, you take note of it, and then you gank one more time. Belly Flop's going to miss out of Trick, so no aggression coming that way.
So still trying to do that similar style of shutting down Gamehunter with purification down. QvoFred tried to go for Moex. Moex knows that he's going to be a target for at least the earlier stages of the game. So he's playing a little careful, not contesting the wave right away, just allowing Xaliea to clear the wave first, and then he'll clear it shortly after. Like
I said, I really expect QvoFred to spend a lot of time on this side of the map just to really stop this Hercules in his tracks, and specifically the new guy. We see teams do this a lot.
And it's not the worst thing in the world if you let the wave enter your tower, only losing the first 1 to 2 melee minions. Losing that 25 to 50 gold, but not losing your life in the process is more valuable. And you'll still pick up the archers either way. You're still going to get all the experience, so you're not going to fall behind levels. Sure, you might fall behind 50 gold per wave, but at the end of the day, as long as you're not giving up your life, you're not losing your board, your blue buff, and all that, then you're fine.
Yeah, there's an art to losing lane in the solo lane, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. There's definitely an art to that, and if the more experienced you are, the more you know how not to lose the lane is the more important thing. We do have aggression.
Ooh, could have been a kill on the Hercules, but a quick jump out of the way from Xaliea. Puts the Bellona underneath the tower, safe and sound. She's got teleport available, so shouldn't be too big of a deal.
75-second cooldown was used by Xaliea, so Hercules is going to be able to get a free wave here and then back. His teleport is on cooldown, so he can compare that cooldown with Xalia's now. That 90-second difference window can be a factor if there's ever a team fight in the dual lane side.
Trixtank looked like he was in a little bit of trouble there. 3 players from Torpedo able to isolate him out, but no stun coming from the Anhur means the quick jump is all good. Xalia's going to go into tower and stop Moex from backing just a little bit, taking some poke in the process. There's the jump on top of Korinyo. Intoxicate comes out. Response is the Anhur ult, but Lawbster finds the kill from a distance onto the mid-hunter, and Korinyo falls down for the second death on the side of Torpedo.
I love what Trixtank did there. He flopped on the Anhur, but instead of using his Intoxicate right away, he moved a little bit more towards the right, making sure that he would min-max his Intoxicate, hitting 2 members of Torpedo in the process.
And that's, I mean, Bacchus brings a lot of that damage. That's almost why you pick him. Really, you pick him because of the belly flop and the setup that it brings, but you're certainly not going to say no to the damage. So making sure to maximize that component of the kit is certainly something you want to do when you're piloting the Fat Man.
Especially when you have pen boots online, you get that drunkometer a little bit higher up, giving you that extra magical power. You have to utilize that magic power on Bacchus, and Trixtank loves to play aggressive.
Exactly. I mean, I was just going to bring up, Trixtank plays this is a jungle play. Right? You see supports do this occasionally where they sit on the side and try to surprise the opposition. It's not unheard of. But Trixtank does this more often than he actually stands in lane. You're still close enough to the wave to go ahead and get the golden experience from it, but you have that surprise factor on the opposition. And when you're playing Bacchus, I mean, that's what you're looking for.
And Torpedo and Gamehunter recognizes this. They have a ward in the middle of the dual lane jungle. So he was sitting on top of that ward. Gamehunter's like, hey, what's up, man? I see you. I'm not going to fall for that anymore.
Just give a little wave. Nobody's really surprised. There's the ultimate out of Bobat. Not going to find QvoFred as he walks away from the buff. The blue buff goes the way of Moex, as it should.
2 ultimates being traded just to make sure that the blue buff was still onto Torpedo. So Moex having the blue buff still going to be able to keep on going in the solo laning phase.
Jump for jump as Trixtank goes towards Korinyo. There's going to be a taunt into the ultimate out of Korinyo. This looks good for Torpedo, but the turnaround, Intoxicate into the Supernova. Lawbster finds the kill onto Murrdurr. Despite the fantastic initiation coming out from Torpedo, Paradigm able to turn it on their heads.
That was really close to getting the kill onto Lawbster. Unfortunately, the Anhur was level 8. Had he had that level 2 ultimate, oh, he might be in trouble.
No surprise that Funball's going aggressive, and a beautiful pillar saves the life of Korinyo until Trixtank comes from around the corner, jumping over said pillar and able to find the kill. NinjaBobat now half HP. The base is coming out from both the support and the hunter. Gamehunter a little bit isolated here by himself in the jungle. Paradigm doesn't want any of it as they know Torpedo can rotate very quickly. So the retreat back towards the mid lane after Paradigm take what they can. 4-0 very early on, 8.5 on the clock, and Paradigm with a couple of kills has found themselves 2,000 gold in the lead.
Very good lead so far at the 8.5 minute mark to establish about a 4,000 experience lead for Paradigm, and also a very experienced veteran play coming out of them. They saw the Chronos was isolated, but that didn't bring any lust into their eyes. They knew that Athena was coming back from the respawn earlier on, so they decided, hey, we got a kill already. Trixtank's doing this thing. Let's reset and go from there.
And that's something Paradigm has had problems with historically in this split is their lack of discipline. You see them chasing kills occasionally, sometimes overstaying their welcome. So it's very nice to see Paradigm make that adjustment and as a team go, okay, we've gotten our objective, we got what we came for, we'll go ahead and retreat and play it safe.
Especially if they want to remain top 3 in contention for DreamHack. Cringe Crew just recently beating them in the standings, so they have to be very careful. They need that sort of leadership and cohesiveness. They need somebody in that backline to be like, okay, we're aggressive, we got it, let's peel it back a little bit. So they need that little bit of calm voice in the back.
Exactly. Some of the recent losses from Paradigm might have, shaken them up just a little bit. I never like to say teams get complacent or anything, and I won't. But Paradigm definitely, I don't know. I don't think we saw prime Paradigm the other day when they suffered a couple of losses. So maybe a bit of a wake-up call coming to the black and yellow with some of their recent performances. And this is more the Paradigm that I'm used to seeing, whether it was just a misstep or otherwise. Paradigm definitely seemed to be back in their saddle.
They had interesting strategies that they ran against Cringe Crew with a triple warrior tank frontline, which got met by the huge displacement strategy that Cringe Crew ran with the Sobek, the Raijin, the Tier, the Hanbats, just all over the place. Nothing that Paradigm could do, but Paradigm switching it up. They did get the Bacchus this game, so now they can play aggressive like this.
And there's the jump in with the Intoxicate. Korinyo answers correctly with an ultimate of his own, and damage goes out more on Torpedo than not, but Paradigm unable to find the final hits to secure a kill. Still just 4 on the scoreboard.
I like what the Anhur did. He recognized the fact that Bacchus was about to belly flop. He used his ultimate, saving the purification. Since that's a shorter cooldown, it's definitely worth it. Bacchus still playing aggressive in the tier 1 tower.
Can't find the stun this time around. Trix gets stunned out himself. On the backside, QvoFred and Lawbster are forced out, so all by himself as the rotation from OX pays off. First kill for Torpedo, brought to you by the solo laner.
And we were just talking about that calm voice in the back that was needed to be made. Unfortunately, Trixtank apparently didn't get that memo in that scenario going down.
I kind of liked that play. It was just unfortunate that that mid and jungle, Qvo and Lawbster, they got chased out. Torpedo played that 100% correct. Go in once and then come in again from Paradigm, and that could have been damage into the mid lane. Or on top of Korinyo and the support in the jungle that were there, but Torpedo play it correctly. They anticipate the follow-up, so they back off a little bit. And because of the back off, enough space is separated from the back of the tower to the front that Lawbster and QvoFred can't actually join the party. And at that point, you just sort of say, I'm sorry, support. We gave it a shot.
Yeah, we gave it a shot. They could have potentially got some tower poke. They did, as they left it at about 30 to 40% health remaining. So that could be a target that Paradigm will try to exploit as the game progresses. Red buff going to be started by Torpedo. I'm sorry, Paradigm.
And they'll go ahead and secure their own buff, just making sure they grab the farm along the way. Paradigm, that is. Funball returns back to lane. As he'll head against Gamehunter, who does have Murrdurr next to him. Athena's going to hang out in this lane as well. Bacchus, on the other hand, has been very mobile.
As we do see him wrapping around the corner, he's looking for more aggression, potentially forcing a defensive cooldown out of Gamehunter as both of them jump in.
Beautiful taunt coming out of Murrdurr to stop the onslaught that Funball had planned, but the ultimate of the Gamehunter happens anyway. There's Athena going to go ahead and try to provide the damage ult, and it happens. Funball gets killed by Murrdurr. The basic attack secures the kill onto the Hunter, and then over on the side, Korinyo through the wall, tries to deal damage against QvoFred's onslaught to a jungler of his own. Nobody dies. Korinyo's damage pays off.
The aggression coming out of Paradigm was not successful. They got met by the counter ultis coming out of the Chronos and to the Athena. Without their escapes available, the damage was just too much for them to handle. They need to be a little bit more calculating. They forced the defensive cooldowns out of the Chronos. They forced ultimate, which was really good, but they needed to be able to disengage faster.
How do you feel about that play from Murrdurr? Athena's ultimate is always talked about with respect to its global capability. Clearly not the case there, but the damage from Defender of Olympus is actually really high, and that's what secured the kill on the Funball. So, mistake? Look at that. The base damage, 350 just right now, plus 90% of the power, which, I mean, she's not building power, but you know what I'm saying.
It was a lot of damage for the Athena ultimate, but what's more important was the damage mitigation as well. The Chronos ultimate was already down, so he didn't have much escape potential. The Athena ultimate saving his life.
Bacchus is here as Torpedo goes ahead and starts the Gold Fury, and Gamehunter ends Trixtank. Trixtank on the Bacchus, one of the better supports when it comes to objective, not just secure, but contestation. Able to jump on in, knock everybody up to prevent using their own abilities, and then Intoxicate deals a large amount of damage. So Torpedo have to walk away from the Gold Fury, and they pick up a kill themselves for it.
Right now, the Bacchus is not that tanky. Funballer going to have to disengage as he gets poked out by Gamehunter and the Athena. So Bacchus has had the Urchin, but he has 0 stacks on it. So he's only getting 35 protections for both right now. So if his Drunkometer isn't high, then he's not as tanky as he would want to be. So if he gets chain CC'd by the Thor, by the Anhur, gets hit by the double tap, the Chronos follows up, and like we saw there, he'll fall very quickly.
Yeah, the Urchin is not very efficient until it's stacked up. About 3, that's where it starts to become a little bit more interesting. Murrdurr tries to find the other side, doesn't need it though. Right down comes Funball right where he stood, and Gamehunter puts him in the ground right where he stood. 4-4 are the kills. Keep in mind, Paradigm started this one off 4-0. So Torpedo has had 4 unanswered kills in the last couple of minutes.
And because of the way Athena can initiate with the dash taunt, very patiently waiting for the Hui to land. Hui was a little late on the jump, so he lands right back down where he started, allowing the Chronos to get easy follow-up. They didn't even have to commit to the chase. If the Hui jumped further away, he could have at least stalled for a little bit. Maybe a rotation could have came. Instead, just jumping in place didn't allow any of that to happen.
Right. I mean, that's why Murrdurr took the positioning that he did. Basically, you have 2 options there. Either you jump towards the front of your tower or the back of your tower, and, well, there's a Chronos in front of your tower, and there's a Athena on the back side of your tower. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. Lands right in between, and obviously the collapse happens and winds up with a kill. Torpedo's going to take that little bit of room and head towards the Gold Fury, but they're looking more for the fight than anything else. Trixtank sees people around the corner. He's not taking the bait, quickly jumps away. The support should be safe, and he's walking on a ward now and doesn't want that to happen again. So D-visions that little corner.
Torpedo's the one that wants to play aggressive right now. They have a Chronos sitting at level 15 with a Doom Orb online, has a lot of mobility with a Winged Blade and his Accelerate. Very difficult to lock him down right now. They do have a Bacchus Belly Flower for CC and the Hun Batz ultimate, but other than that, that's the only potential CC that they can really have. They need Xaliea to be there as well.
Exactly. Xaliea has that CC, that hard CC in a stun, but again, just on the ultimate. And when it comes down to Intoxicate, at a professional level, everybody in the league from Team 1 through 8 is obviously a lot more talented than most people watching the broadcast. How much does Intoxicate actually affect a professional level player?
It still affects. There's certain skill shots that you have to be very accurate with. You have to line it up, like the Hui ricochet off a wall, for example. Now, granted, the Hui and the Bacchus are on the same team.
The Chronos Time Rift, maybe?
The Chronos Time Rift could be a little bit difficult with your camera swaying back to back. Could be the Anhur ultimate will actually get negated because of CC immunity, so that doesn't matter. But certain skill shots, like the Thor hammer, for example, is very difficult to land if you're intoxicated.
So the Intoxicate, think of it less like a CC and more just of a mild annoyance for the players at this level, huh?
Especially if there's a Xbalanque on the same team.
Oh, yeah.
That's usually when
Well-
you see Bacchus shine the most.
Yeah, because of that's the guaranteed stun. You can't stop moving when you're intoxicated, so you're going to get stunned out by the ultimate from Xbalanque. Also, you see that from time to time with knockups. Quick jump from QvoFred, avoiding the taunt out of Murrdurr. Quick reactions, love it.
And it was still a good attempt by Murrdurr. Even though he didn't get the taunt, he could have potentially forced the purification if he landed it, and he didn't put himself in a position where he would get counter-engaged on.
There's an engagement going on in the mid, or it looked like Paradigm wanted their one to be, but Korinyo able to jump away just like Qvo did 30 seconds ago, so not a big deal.
Xaliea is going to look to try to potentially steal this blue buff away from Moex.
Moex sees it, hits the driving strike, nothing's going to happen, and Xaliea able to clean things up with the hammer.
Nicely done by Xaliea. It's a really good idea when you're at this stage of the game. You're both level 17, 18. Everyone else in the game is a little bit lower than you, so it's difficult to try to contest you. So you poke your head around the corner in the blue buff saying, hey, can I have this?
Xaliea going into a more utilitarian type build than honestly we're used to seeing out of Xaliea. The Transcendence Chalk, right, comes out, lots of damage there, and Xalia's used to build. We usually see Xaliea building very offensively. Well, that's what Hercules is doing with the shifter shield on the other side, but the breastplate right into more health and some utility with the slow hammer, the Frostbound. So how do you feel about this build? I really love it.
Shifter shield on the Hercules is a perfect build for him because while you're over 50% health, you're getting extra power.
Right.
You're going to hit 60 physical power. But now where you're healing and you're hitting under that 50% threshold, you're going to be receiving 20 extra protections.
And with the way Hercules' passive works, he's already dealing more damage when he's low health anyway. So the extra 20 power that you have when you're above 50 HP, of course you always want it, but you'd rather have the protection, stay alive a little bit longer, and you're able to deal that amplified damage that Herc's passive gives.
It's a win-win situation,
Yep.
especially considering the fact that the item has decreased in price since the previous patch.
Yeah, this is a very strong item, but the synergy between it almost feels like old Runeforge and Vamana, where it was pretty much just the same. The item was the passive, right? Hercules, this is a perfect item for Hercules, and I'm glad we see this because it's an aggressive build, and Hercules needs to be a little bit aggressive to work out.
And harping on the Hercules build a little bit, he does begin his wing blade, so he's going to be able to put himself in a position to push anybody from Paradigm that might be even a little out of position.
Yeah, a lot of HP on that item as well, and Lawbster's going to use his purification to avoid the stun from Korinyo. Strong Pillar Impale. That was actually on the money too.
Not only the purification, but also the Sanctuary, so they could exploit that in their next Gold Fury fight.
Yeah, because so Korinyo uses Lawbster uses the purification, but he's still susceptible to the burst damage out of Korinyo's ultimate, so he needs to use both of those relics in that situation to get away, and he successfully does.
Have to respect the Anhur damage in the mid game.
Oh, yeah.
However, the Chronos is in a better position than the Anhur in the duo lane. Already at 9,600 gold. Does have Obsidian Shard finished. Looking to do a lot of damage in this next team fight at level 18 compared to Hu Yi that's 17.
Yeah, very, very strong Chronos coming out. We'll see the two of them boxing. He'll clear up the wave. I expect Chronos to go in a little bit on the left side. Gamehunter does. He's already down to 40% HP. Funball has, it's funny, Funball has the lead in HP right there, but still doesn't want to take the fight.
Has to be very careful, both of these players. Gamehunter can do about 50% damage with just his 1-3 combo. Hu Yi, as long as Chronos is marked, all those in-hands are about to do 200 damage each, and Chronos has to be very mindful about the stun that's about to follow up, because that could kill him before the ultimate even comes out.
Exactly. The stun into the follow-up damage is very intense. From honestly, Gamehunter, the stun into the Time Rift burst with a couple of basics, and Funball, the stun off of the Mark of the Crow into the Ricochet and a couple of basics. Both of these characters they're known for their basic attacks, their extended damage, but the burst from both Hu Yi and Chronos still certainly in the conversation.
And the one thing that the Chronos accelerates at, or you see what I did there? He excels at accelerating really quickly from side to side. So if you're both really skilled, favoring Gamehunter in the 1v1 matchup, as long as he's able to juke Funballers in hands.
Yeah, that Fatalis effect on Accelerate is a huge part of what allows Gamehunter to utilize this character. Be very, very sneaky. At least that's what he's trying to do.
I like what Gamehunter did there. Even though there's no wave to be had, this is something good to do if whether you're solo or hunter. Just put yourself in the jungle while you're waiting for the next wave if you're not aggressing.
Just creates that uncertainty. Funball certainly knows that he's going to be aggressed on. Half HP is the hunter. almost finds the ricochet a little bit off the mark. But yeah, we see it more on the side of the solo lane because, I mean, that lane is known for its mind games, but a lot of good hunters do it as well. Just that uncertainty. Did he rotate? I don't know. And Emilito, when he plays Neath, will always go in that ultimate. Clogging up your enemy's comms is also something worth noting.
Especially when you put yourself in that position where Gamehunter was, you can also see any rotations that are coming at you. So he spotted Trixtank coming around the corner, and he just disengages, waiting for his Athena to initiate, poking out Funballer a little bit. And I like the way Murrdurr has been playing this Athena so far. He's going to need to continue to set up his team with these dash taunts and just start things up.
And now Murrdurr's trying to be a little bait. His team hiding around the corner. There's Korinyo dropping the pillar, and a lot of damage coming out already. Gold Fury taken down. No showing from Paradigm whatsoever. But to be fair to them, that Gold Fury went down a lot quicker than anybody anticipated.
Yeah, at this stage of the game, you have a level 19 just now hitting level 20 Chronos. You have level 17 Anhur with Transcendence, so he's doing a lot of damage. You have to respect the burst. Korinyo going to get flopped.
There's the jump on top of Korinyo. He's going to turn around and use the ultimate in anticipation of the hunt. Batz ult. Fantastic use of the CC immunity to allow the mid laner to get out of there. Funball drops the Suns and starts the fight on top of Moex. Paradigm very healthy. Can't say the same about Torpedo. They're very low. Forced out of the fight is Korinyo. Forced out of the fight is NinjaBobat. Murrdurr's still here, but Trixtank leading the charge. Tier 1 tower already taken. The Athena's taken on 4 players. Gamehunter from the side, looking for the damage. Forced into the ultimate very quickly as Funball takes care of Murrdurr underneath the tower. But the rotation from Gamehunter was strong, and it's enough to prevent Paradigm from going on to another tower in the mid lane.
Finally, we see these solo laners rotate to these team fights, making their presence known. Unfortunately for Moex, he got the short end of that stick as he gets picked off very quickly. The meditation from Bacchus allowing Paradigm to continue the siege and the aggression with the belly flops. Trixtank is just, look how far back the rest of Paradigm is compared to Trixtank. He needs to respect that also, the distance.
Well, so for me, that was less about I'm going to go in, guys, where's my follow-up, and more about creating the space. That's a situation that we see a turnaround quite frequently. Torpedo has a lot of players under that tower. You could definitely see a dash forward, a jump forward from Anhur, and there's no sprint available, but just running down the lane, catch 1 or 2 players out, and then that can transition into either a tower or whatnot. Trixtank creates the space for his team. He's the healthiest out of everybody after the meditation, jumps on top, stops everybody in the tracks and just tries to get a stun while the rest of his team retreats. I like that aggression. It's defense by way of offense.
Indeed, and now we do see finally 1 stack on the height of the Urchin for Trixtank. So this is kind of also why he wants to play aggressive. He wants to get even more tankier building these stacks. You look at Xalia's build, having Oni Hunter's Garb with Guardian Mail already finished. Once he sells his Death's Toll, gets that last item, they're going to want to start fighting with this build. So very aggressive Paradigm, always looking to fight.
So Oni Hunter's Garb is not an item that we see built too often. Raffer has actually built it a couple of times, and out of that, in recent memory, nothing really comes to mind. Why don't you break this down for us a little bit?
So it gives you that 20 MP5. Normally you would see this on Guan Yu specifically.
Because of that MP5.
Because of that MP5. Bellona, however, so the way Xaliea is playing.
Korinyo finds a death quickly, and Funball turns things around. 2 kills for him and 1 for the teammate. 3 players from Torpedo get taken out very, very suddenly. And now Paradigm have the numbers to go ahead and look towards number 2. There's Gamehunter knocked up, Purification used, and so will Rewind. Moex with a strong ultimate will create a little bit of separation that Torpedo needs. Gamehunter all the way down the lane. Paradigm look a little distraught.
I like what Gamehunter did there. After he rewinded, he cleared the middle wave, so now if Paradigm wants to come into this tier 2 tower, they have to do it without the creep wave, so the backdoor protections, actually, they do have 2 archers there, so it did get eliminated. Gamehunter not able to fully clear that mid wave.
But the mentality was there and looking for it. Paradigm pick up 2 towers in a couple of minutes, one right after the other. 26 on the clock. Paradigm leading by 5 kills. And when it comes to gold, they're up almost 4,000.
So we talked about the aggression and the willingness that Paradigm loves to fight. And just like that, we were talking about the builds. Boom, there goes 3 kills. There comes 3 stacks on height of the Urchin for Trixtank. And now they can keep on aggressing. They lost a Gold Fury earlier on, but when you get 3 kills like that, you get a tier 2 mid tower, you're stabilizing it a little bit. It's getting to that late game where players are getting around level 20. Some members from Torpedo are still struggling a little bit to get there. So Paradigm needs to keep on the onslaught going.
Keep up the pace. This is the pace that Paradigm want to play at. They want to keep this very quick pace. Every engagement, every time there's a chance to breathe, they want to take that away from you and go for it. With the way that Trixtank has belly flop, you don't always need the Intoxicate, especially as the game gets later and later. You don't need the Bacchus to lower the players into kill threshold. Funball and Lawbster can do it themselves. And with the build that QvoFred's going, he's not going for quick burst with the Deathbringer that we usually see. It's just pure power. So every hit, whether it's the overhand smash or the basics, they're going to come out swinging like a truck.
He does have the Shifter Shield and the Void Shield, trying to set up Xaliea to do more damage, trying to set up Funballer to do more damage. Whoever is going to get marked, so QvoFred can actually play in the backline with Funballer just to blow up anybody that goes in the backline, specifically Moex or NinjaBobat.
And this has been a much better performance from Moex this game around, and I'm very impressed. We saw his first time out. It was clear that it was his first time out. This time around, making a little bit more impact as Lawbster makes an impact into Korinyo's face with the ultimate. That's one dead Anhur. 0-4-2 for Korinyo.
Korinyo struggling a little bit in this stage of the game. 0-4, does have 4 items on Shin size. Not able to utilize that to his advantage. These team fights, the aggression from Paradigm is just too much for Torpedo to handle right now. They have a good engage with Athena dash taunt, but they need more follow-up damage. And without Anhur, it's hard.
Trixtank half HP. Shell already popped as the onslaught from Torpedo comes in the counter engagement. There's Moex, finds a flip, finds the kick, and forced back is Xaliea. And jumping forward is Trixtank to make sure his solo laner gets out of there alive.
Sprint was used by Paradigm for the disengage, and then the re-engage, but not going to find anything of it. Fury is back up. Torpedo is still down a man, so Paradigm has a 5v4 power play advantage, trying to take advantage of it. We do have Funballer going to get taunted. He might fall.
Wonderful jump in from Trixtank to protect the Hunter, but the Gold Fury cures the kill. Funball can't find a way out. The damage is already dealt. Credit goes to Gamehunter, but we all know that Gold Fury got that last hit. I loved what Trixtank did there. He actually saved the life of Funball for the moment, but Funball jumps into the Gold Fury pit, which is just, I mean, that's just one of those, that's unfortunate.
That's one of those blooper reels that you can run by, and then when Funballer sees it later, he's going to feel a little sad.
I mean, there really wasn't an option, right? Either he jumps down and dies, or he jumps to the right and dies, or he jumps, that's the furthest way he can go, and hopefully he tries to get out of the circle, but Gold Fury, 1 kill for the Gold Fury, 2 deaths.
And now they're going to look to find Moex here. If they can find Moex, they can find the next objective.
Going to give chase to the Korinyo with the Sanctuary on point. Gamehunter off the backside finds Trixtank. And now Lawbster being aggressed on as well by NinjaBobat and Murrdurr as he ults away.
That Athena ultimate did a lot of damage. NinjaBobat forced to use his Sanctuary just to get out of there. QvoFred going to jump away. Xaliea might be in trouble if they get chased on.
And Lawbster trying to do what he can to provide some help for his teammate. There's the damage of the Gamehunter, but Lawbster finds the Corporeal form.
Look how fast Gamehunter is moving while he accelerates with the wing, but it's very difficult to run away from him unless you pop that sprint. The Scourge was used on Gamehunter just to be able to stop the tower push.
And there's a taunt coming out from Murrdurr. And what the taunt does is it forces Funball to go ahead and jump back. So if Funball had any plans on defending that tower, well, they're all gone because Murrdurr, being very aggressive, goes ahead and drags towards, forcing the jump backwards.
All that said and done, the dust does settle. Gold Fury still stands. Tier 1 tower for Paradigm does fall. Torpedo down a little bit of gold to Paradigm. Not the end of the world. At the 30-minute mark, only this small of a deficit, 3,000 gold. However, 8.6k experience. Not that bad right now, considering the fact that the Thor's level 19, Anhur's level 19. They're about to catch up. The Athena's a little bit behind, but Trixtank is right at the same level. So Torpedo still stabilizing. They were behind a little bit, but they're stabilizing.
Yeah, Paradigm definitely have the lead in this game, but they're certainly not just in the driver's seat yet. QvoFred popping the ultimate, and everybody from Torpedo escapes. And if I'm a fan of the red squad, I'm making note of that. Great double stun coming out from Moex. Funball very low. The damage is dealt. NinjaBobat misses. Can't find it the first time, but finds the second stun into the double tap. Finds a kill for the jungler.
And that was an all-star play coming out of Hercules. When you can find a double pull, double push into the double boulder with your team to follow up, getting an easy clean pick onto Funballer, that's going to open the door wide open. Defensive ulti from Xaliea.
There's Gamehunter forcing the ultimate. Murrdurr's also going to combine and help the life of the Chronos. Lawbster, on the other hand, forcing NinjaBobat out of the fight to the right-hand side. It'll send Thor back on home. The easy way, though, no kill 12-7. The only one that found a kill in that engagement was Torpedo on top of Funball.
And now the tables have turned. Paradigm was playing aggressive. Now it's Torpedo that's looking to play aggressive. Finding the early pick, forcing the defensive ultis at Xaliea, and now they're going to be the ones trying to force the Gold Fury with Moex playing very aggressively, trying to zone out the rest of Paradigm.
And Trixtank wants nothing to do with the Gold Fury. Goes all the way to Torpedo pretty much for free. And now these teams just separated by 1,000. You know, 3,200 gold of a lead. That's a lead that I wanted Torpedo to fight into anyway. When teams are separated by 1,000 gold, Toli, I mean, do the math, really. What's 1,000 divided by 5? You're looking at 200 gold. That's not a big lead per player. So you're able to take these fights very, very simply.
No, that's just basically one Sentry Ward, one regular Ward, which does matter depending on what stage of the game is and where you place it.
Right.
But right now, where the next objective is Fire Giant, as long as you have equal vision towards it, that extra 200 gold per player is negligible.
So Torpedo now definitely not going to go down without a fight. They will not surrender quietly into the night. You ever see Independence Day?
I did, but I'm a little... No, I have not.
That's actually sacrilegious. That's a shame. Moex provides a vision that was just removed from Funball and just a quick Sentry Ward. So there's that. There's a little bit of gold being traded around here. Vision currently on the side of Torpedo. Blink forward. Looking for the enemy is Moex. Can't find it though. Funball will jump away into the safety of his squad.
Able to jump away. The initial initiation for the Hercules was really well done. They knew that the Hui purification was on cooldown. They stopped his jump initially, putting him back on the ground. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough follow-up to get the kill.
I like the blink Herc, and Moex is making it look very good this time around. Certainly some improvement from the first time we saw him play on the SPL stage, and I'm sure him and his team are very happy about that. Healing up is going to be Moex, while Murrdurr taunts forward Xaliea. Can't find much, and now Paradigm will reset.
Found a lot of poke actually on Xaliea. Forced out an early meditation out of Trixtank just because Xaliea was poked out, maybe 25% health.
Yeah, that's the difference between Bacchus and Guan Yu. He doesn't have that heal on demand. He has it on a big cooldown and jumping forward using one of his own big cooldowns. Intoxicate going to do just a little bit of damage. Looking for the follow-up from the friends. QvoFred drops the ultimate to crowd control on the front side. And Gamehunter, he's flanked. He's looking for some damage. But Torpedo, they're going to suffer. The Hunter in some trouble. And Gamehunter will be forced out by good attention from Paradigm as they turn on to Gamehunter.
The kiting from Torpedo has been really, really well. Gamehunter absorbed a lot of cooldowns while he was rewinding. We had QvoFred diving the backline of Korinyo. He was able to buy enough time with his Sanctuary to save his life, so nobody gets anything out of it. Torpedo escapes with their lives. Paradigm was the aggressors that fight, and that's what they're known to do, but they need to find a kill.
And I do like what Paradigm did when Chronos came around the side. Like I said, he flanked, and he was trying to find everybody unaware, but Paradigm traditionally have to peel for themselves. Trixtank, I think, has been very good this season at amplifying his peel and how much he's bringing that to the table. But Paradigm are a team that have played together using self-peel for a long time. So they just turn their attention. And there's another double flip and double stun coming out from Moex. Up in the air is Bobat. He's going to miss the target, but finds it with the wall. Damage coming out onto the Hunt Batz. Not enough to find it, but Gamehunter seals one for himself. Moex misses his ultimate, but now Torpedo, they're in the driver's seat. Xaliea with a great stun will save the life of Lawbster, and the soul will be safe under the tower, but Torpedo has done the poking, and it looks like they're looking for tier number 2, and they'll take it.
The way Murrdurr initiated that fight to begin with, finding the triple taunt, and then towards the end of the fight, ended with a double taunt, allowing Torpedo to get this tier 2 tower, forces Paradigm away, and now they're going to set their sights to the Fire Giant at the 35-minute mark. If they get this one, then they're going to start to be able to clean up the last 2 remaining tier 2 towers, potentially getting some Phoenixes as well.
QvoFred does have the ultimate available, so if the monkey wants to make himself known at the big fire, man, he certainly can. And Torpedo, again, more looking for the fight than the objective itself. We saw this last time, 10 minutes ago, on the Gold Fury, and they're going to get very aggressive. Red Squad just piles damage into the Lawbster, and Gamehunter is the first one to start the party off with a kill for himself. Damage coming out from the Athena ult as QvoFred tries to turn it around with a big totem placement, but it's just not enough as the monkey going to be forced out the hard way. Double kill going the way of Chronos, 7, 1, and 2 in total for Gamehunter.
Beautiful meditation coming out of Athena, just bailing her life out of there. They recognized that the relics for Paradigm were down. They took advantage of that, finding an early kill onto Lawbster that poked his head around the corner. Paradigm didn't have vision around Fire Giant, and Torpedo knew that, so they just patiently waited for somebody to come around the corner, finds 2 easy kills and the Fire Giant.
This is the Gamehunter of yesteryear. We saw him in Season 2, and he really didn't make much of an impact. It was pretty much on this roster. And he didn't make the impact that he was known for in Season 1 and the launch tournament and the stories of yesteryear. So seeing him here, all of his team, pretty much just 1 kill around, except for him, 7 kills in total. And let's take a look at the player damage. I bet he's a big part of that as well. Number 1, no surprise there. Sure, Chronos does damage, but Gamehunter frequently finding these places to deal out the damage, able to get the stuns. And in a situation where Korinyo, who traditionally has been performing very well, he's having a rough game, Gamehunter able to support his teammate and provide a little bit extra when he needs to.
And it's not like Paradigm doesn't know what Gamehunter can bring to the table either. They tried to shut him down early on. They did find a first blood onto him, Funballer getting that first blood.
And I mean, Gamehunter, keep in mind, he was the solo laner for this team once upon a time. Xaliea and Funball joined the core of QvoFred, Lawbster, and Trixtank. These guys actually won the launch tournament together as under the banner of TSM. Gamehunter was the solo lane. So they're well aware of what Gamehunter can do and how devastating this player can be. And right now, they're experiencing the other side of Gamehunter.
Yeah, we do see Torpedo positioning themselves around the dual lane jungle, seeing if the red buff is up. Their goal lead about 5,000. Experience is negligible right now. They're looking for these last Phoenixes.
I love the way that graph looks right there because you could just put a Chronos face right about the 30-minute mark. Where, all right, Paradigm are doing very, very well. And then Chronos hits near full build and he becomes Chronos and it just goes all in the opposite direction.
Especially when he absorbs a lot of cooldowns and they can't find the kill on him during the rewind. And then, oh, we just wasted all our abilities. Our relics are down. We're in trouble.
And we're frequently seeing Murrdurr pop the ultimate on top of Gamehunter, as you noted before, mainly for the damage reduction. And when everybody on Paradigm is surrounded, they're also going to take damage themselves. Gamehunter spacing nicely on the backside while his team starts to fight. Moex absorbs a whole bunch. There's the ultimate out of Funball, but it's actually going to take Moex down. Torpedo, half HP pretty much across the board as Xaliea jumps on in. There's the ultimate out of Gamehunter. Next time he gets hit, he's probably going to go down, but can he avoid it? Korinyo's going to say yes as he takes out Xaliea. Jumping away is Trixtank. This Phoenix has Torpedo all over it. Left side goes down, and the Fire Giant Torpedo will go ahead and retreat and head towards mid lane.
So Murrdurr initiated that by dash taunting, forcing the purification early out of Funballer. However, once Moex came in as well, the counter aggression for Paradigm was too much. Murrdurr taking a spill.
And jumping forward was Trixtank, and he got stunned out. Very important that Trixtank got stunned out, so he couldn't follow up with the burp and potential stun. That allows the kill to turn around and take out Murrdurr. And with Murrdurr and Moex down, Torpedo doesn't really have the front line necessary to provide more siege, and they'll retreat back into their own jungle.
Exactly, and you need to have that pair. You have people to absorb the damage of the Phoenix and the team fight, and then people to dish out damage to objectives such as Gamehunter and Korinyo, and you can't do one without the other. It's like, a family, a team that you have to collect all the pieces to the puzzle. So instead of trying to force down the middle Phoenix with Fire Giant 3v4, they're just going to like to get the Go Fury and play back, try to finish up the 6 items, maybe get some 450 pots and more sentries to boot.
Right, everybody on Torpedo understands exactly what they need to do. And now as we approach 40 minutes, it's been a very exciting one. Paradigm held this game in their hands very early on. But as the game got later and later, Torpedo was able to turn it around, largely in the hands of Gamehunter. But everybody has really taken their part. 14-11 are the kills. A lot of those for Torpedo have come a little bit later. And now they find themselves 7,300 gold up.
And in this situation, 40-minute mark, both these teams have to look for things to min-max in their kits. So Athena right now still with the Traveler shoes. I would like to see her potentially sell this off, either for the reinforced greaves, maybe even cooldown boots, although her cooldown is pretty good right now. She doesn't necessarily need cooldown boots.
Yeah, Discord and the Spirit Robe should do the job. So either reinforced greaves or do we see the power boots like we would on Bacchus?
It's better than Traveler shoes. However, by still having the Traveler shoes, you still get the movement speed outside of combat, so that does put you in a position to get an easier dash taunt potential going around a corner. You also get the HP 5 out of combat, which is not too shabby.
I mean, the HP 5 is nice, looking at what Torpedo has been doing. Siege and re-siege and siege and re-siege, taking 1 kill into 2 kills and then stepping back and then going right back in. So the HP 5 might be the choice that Murrdurr's looking for specifically. Tosses a reach out onto the tower. No stun for him.
We do see Murrdurr just walking away.
Yep.
He didn't elect to even waste a taunt during the burp. See, what Trixtank wanted to do is like, hey, I'm going to burp you, try to stun you. I'm threatening you that my team is going to follow up off of this stun.
Right.
You better taunt me. Because he would rather be taunted by the Athena than have somebody in his backline get taunted, forcing a purification.
Fire Giant is up, and that's probably why Torpedo didn't go ahead and take that. We see 2 layers of peel here. Moex playing the hard peel, and then right behind, Murrdurr will follow up should anybody actually make it past Hercules, but it's not going to happen. Torpedo pick up the Fire Giant pretty much for free, completely zoned out by just the presence of Moex and Murrdurr alone, and now Paradigm are going to have to retreat and play defense underneath their own Phoenix, the tier 2. Certainly not worth it.
Because the left side Phoenix is down, they needed to be able to defend the fire minions that were pouring into the Titan room. Meanwhile, QvoFred was getting his red buff earlier on, so they decided to play it safe. They were able to defend the middle Phoenix earlier in a 4v4 situation, so they're confident that they are able to defend 5v5, even with Torpedo having Fire Giant in this late game.
Keep an eye on Trixtank, likely going to jump in before Torpedo can find an engagement or initiation of their own. The jump forward, and then Qvo will follow up, but the taunt comes first. There's the kick from Moex. It's going to miss, but the ultimate from the Soul is going to be on point. Tower or Phoenix still alive. No damage dealt out there. And Paradigm save all of their ults except for Lawbster's, and that's certainly a good look.
And now QvoFred having to defend left side Phoenix.
There's the jump in from Trixtank following Moex blink forward, and they're going to look for a counter initiation. Murrdurr in some trouble. Funball takes him out before the ultimate can come out. Now it's a 5v4 engagement. It's a 5v3 engagement. Xaliea takes out Korinyo. Rewind used from Gamehunter on the back. Xaliea sees it, and he jumps forward with Trixtank. NinjaBobat tries to find an escape on the left side while the rest of his team escapes right where they came from. So Torpedo try to take out a tower, but they lose 2 in the process, and Paradigm lose nothing.
So before the siege actually happened, Murrdurr forced the purification out of QvoFred. NinjaBobat taking a lot of damage
What's
from
he doing?
Lawbster and Xaliea. He wants to be able to get this half-health Phoenix on the left-hand side that just respawned.
Against the Soul Bellona combo, that seems a little ambitious.
It's very ambitious, to put it lightly. He wants to get some sort of advantage. He doesn't want this game to slip out of his fingers. He's feeling like he has to put something on his shoulders, make a play. However, he didn't commit too hard, so nothing too much out of that. He's not giving up anything in return.
Exactly. Had we seen the dead Thor, I think that would have been a really problematic situation. And while that call was very ambitious, as we said. If you don't lose anything for it, no harm, no foul, right?
No harm, no foul. And Paradigm able to defend 5v5, like I mentioned. They're very confident in the way they handle these things. Now, Torpedo has to be more methodical about how they initiate. They can't all in anymore because it's clearly not working out.
And also, when you're defending against the Phoenix versus the towers, we frequently say give up the tier 2 and fight under the Phoenix. And a big part of that has to do with just the amount of space that's there. Not only the amount of entrances and exits, but the amount of space. It's just a smaller arena to go ahead and fight in. So your Giant Eagles rally, all of the protections and bonus power that it's giving, the entire fight, you really can't avoid that circle. QvoFred's ultimate, it's going to shove you into a bad spot. You can't get lucky and be pushed into a jungle.
And what's more important about the space control to defend is also the fact that you can retreat to your fountain, heal back up really quickly, and then boom, get back into that fight as soon as you can. Not that much potential to do that in a tower push.
Yeah, you're going to have to fall all the way back and then try to find some sort of way to go ahead and return to combat. 16-11. Torpedo trying to make that 16-16. They want a deicide here to win the game. Paradigm now trying to make their counter initiation, but Bobat's going to go up. He'll land on Lawbster on the backside. Stun is strong, and the combination, Moex meets with it, combined for the kill on a Lawbster before the party even begins. It's a 5v4. Torpedo looking strong here. They want to make their push, but they don't want to be too ambitious. Taking notes from NinjaBobat.
They still have Fire Giant on 3 members.
Murrdurr taunts forward. There's the flip, and there's the kick. It's purified out, so Qvo won't be pushed behind enemy lines. And Funball will drop the Suns. Now jumping forward. Xaliea finds a kill of his own. It's 1 for 1 thus far. Moex turns it around. It's 2 for 2 thus far. 3v3 at the moment. Korinyo solo. Trixtank looking for a kill for himself, but Moex able to find 2, and there's Trixtank. Every single kill being answered back. It's a QvoFred and a Trixtank versus a Moex and a NinjaBobat.
But look at the Titan already taking 50% of its health. It's very low right now as they're trying to find the kill onto Trixtank. Left side Phoenix is down, right side Phoenix is down. QvoFred defending the fire wave.
And this is a perfect play from Trixtank. Had we seen Thor and Hercules go into into the Titan, we might have even seen a quick okey-doke win. But because Trixtank brought them away, taunted them almost, and just completely distracted the two players, Torpedo unable to go for that risk, unable to find the win, and now it'll just be a complete reset.
But now Torpedo doesn't even care. What they were thinking of is if they can pick off Trixtank in that situation, Fire Giant's respawning right now. They can go get Fire Giant really quickly, siege the middle Phoenix without Trixtank to defend, because Paradigm have been relying on Trixtank for this initiations, the belly flop on the squishier targets like Gamehunter and Korinyo to set up the initial burst. And the way Torpedo initiated that earlier Phoenix siege, going onto Lawbster, that purification was already down, he had no way to survive.
That was perfect. It was just so perfect. The combination, not just the typical Thor combo that we see, but Moex noticing it, understanding the call, anticipating it, and throwing the boulder just in time to secure the deal.
Trusting his teammates to chain CC after he came landing down. The combo was perfectly executed by NinjaBobat.
And then credit to Paradigm as well, able to turn that completely on their heels, fighting into as the party starts and you're at a disadvantage. That initiation happened and Lawbster just wasn't a part of the contest. And what Soul brings, so much AoE damage, a lot of slows and potential there, Paradigm's still able to find the fight, so definitely a team that has their defense on their mind. Fire Giant, though, goes for free to the way of Torpedo, largely because of the Fire Minions barreling down the lanes.
Third Fire Giant for Torpedo, and every single Fire Giant, they're getting a little bit of something always. First one, they got the left side Phoenix. Second one, they got the right side Phoenix, and they got the Titan down very low without actually even entering the Titan room. It was all the Fire Wave at its advantage.
Yeah, we call those Winions.
Winions going down the lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 5v5 in Smite, but Torpedo, they seem to have 6 extra players every time they engage because of these fire minions, and it's doing a lot of damage, not just to the Titan, but also just creating some traffic for everybody to fight on through, and Torpedo going to get aggressive right away. I did hear NinjaBobat go up, and he's going to find a target eventually, but there's Thor on the backside trying to do what he can. Gamehunter forced into the ultimate, but the right Phoenix already falling. Right and left, down. Mid going to be aggressed on here, and it doesn't look like anybody from Paradigm can play defense. Trixtank stunned out, looking for the jump, finally finds it on 2, but it's after the bird has fallen. QvoFred picks up Moex in exchange, but 2 Phoenixes for a Hercules. Torpedo might not be able to make the final push, but they'll certainly look good.
And now Torpedo's going to set their sights onto the left side Phoenix that is respawning. There is 3 more fire waves that they have to deal with. 1 at the Phoenix, 1 coming down the lane, and 1 at the tier 2 tower that they have to watch out for.
Trixtank getting stunned and taunted. He'll lose about half of his HP there, but nothing really of note. This late in the game, half HP for Bacchus is still a chunk and a lot to deal with, especially with that 10 stacked Urchin.
Finally, it is 10 stacks, so now he's a little bit tankier than he was before.
Out of see you later. Funball finds Gamehunter instantaneously. Large ricochet takes out the Mage Hunter, and Gamehunter will be sitting out for 69 seconds.
And Torpedo has to be very careful about plays like that. You can't allow the enemy team to stall it out. You have the advantage with Fire Giant. Now, granted, you lost Moex, however, you got the last Phoenix, which was a decent trade. Losing Gamehunter there was completely uncalled for Torpedo. They needed to be able to find a way to end the game. Now it's stalled for Paradigm. They're able to, if they can hold with the 2 Phoenixes respawning, the Titan will become more healthier, and if they can find more picks, then they can start turning things around.
And that's also, like I said, they lost Moex in a combat situation. They lost Moex engaging. He was on the backside, and that's almost you don't want it to happen, but you almost expect it, right? You're diving a Titan so you can create separation. That was just an okie-doke kill on Gamehunter. He was just in the wrong spot, gets caught out, Mark of the Crow and a ricochet. You got to be aware of the damage that this Ho Yi can bring late game. And he's a crit Ho Yi, so the ricochet is going to hurt, it's going to stun you. And then 1 or 2 crits on that Chronos, even with a winged blade, you're absolutely toast.
Especially if you get knocked up after you get marked. There's just no way you have time to rewind from that.
I love the change to the attack speed boots as well. So with the full build, the Warrior Tabby not so much on the mine. It's all about the attack speed. That Rage will go ahead and stack up just a little bit, and you'll quickly see a lot of crits.
And now we do have Torpedo's Gamehunter selling off his Doom Orb after his death, picking up Polynomicon, wanting to do more damage to these objectives. That Phoenix will go down in 2 Chronos hits.
Yeah, very, very quickly. Now, abilities don't work on the Phoenixes, we all know that, but don't be surprised if you see an ability thrown out by Chronos during it. He's just looking for the Polynomicon hit to just destroy these Phoenixes. Chronos is already adept at killing structures, but when it comes to the Polynomicon, it's almost laughable.
Murrdurr consistently
There's
forcing
Bobat
purification.
getting the stun on a Trixtank. Torpedo starting it. Lawbster forced to use the ultimate to create some knockups. The Phoenix still being aggressed on, very little HP, if any, and it'll fall. 518 crit, lots of crits coming out from Funball, distributed amongst everybody. Murrdurr very low, unable to really go back in, way in the red, just a hair of HP on that character. So he'll have to play very safe and certainly cannot initiate until he comes on back.
Murrdurr doing a good job initiating, yet again forcing early purification, but however, Paradigm was stalling very well, trying to put a body in front of Korinyo. Gamehunter wasn't there as he was respawning.
So Torpedo are playing this very carefully. They're doing it one objective at a time. We're seeing Phoenix retreat, Phoenix retreat, Phoenix retreat, Fire Giant retreat, retreat. This is a slow, methodical pace, and frankly, I don't see anything wrong with this. Is there such a thing as too slow at this stage of the game when gold and everything, all things equal?
Experience is equal. Everyone's at full build right now. You have a Soul on one side, Chronos on the other. Pretty much as long as you don't suicide in a deicide, then you're still fine. If you trade 1 for 1, but you're getting a Phoenix for it, you're still in the lead. The Titan at half health, not respawning, so it's in Torpedo's favor. 4th Fire Giant has now respawned. Torpedo is going to be able to get this. Paradigm does not want to leave their Titan exposed to any fire waves.
So the slow pace that Torpedo are going for, it's not a bad thing. They're able to just be very careful and very safe, and that's allowing them, honestly, to be successful from this position. You lose 1, as you said, you can go ahead and retreat. If you get too ambitious and you lose 3 or 4, at this stage, we're almost an hour in, that's the game.
It's better to be safe than sorry, especially with Torpedo being 4-10 right now. They need to get a lot of wins if they want to be able to hit that top 3 mark. Paradigm are currently 8-6. If they lose this game, they're going to fall behind even more to Cringe Crew.
QvoFred taking a lot of damage, forced to use the ultimate, and he's going to look directly at Gamehunter, who will rewind on the backside, met by Xaliea. NinjaBobat on the sky, on the ground as well. Going to land on top of Xaliea, won't get hit too much. Half HP on the Bellona. Right side Phoenix down for the count. Torpedo still aggressing, Fire Giant in hand. They take Trixtank out of the fight for a moment. He'll retreat back to the fountain. Mid Phoenix now. Torpedo should take this down very quickly. Left Phoenix has a while to respawn. So the Titan now finally exposed. All 3 Phoenixes are down. 2,500 damage needed to take out the final objective. Paradigm will do what they can to play defense. There's a lot of control coming out from them. Funball finds a kill, but it doesn't matter. Torpedo wind up on the good side of this one, and they're up 1-0 in this series.
They are up 1-0. Gamehunter playing really, really well in the late game with that Chronos, making a huge impact once those team fights. You mentioned at the 30-minute mark, we saw the graph start dipping down, and that was mostly because of Gamehunter.
Yeah, Chronos really making an impact in that one, and Gamehunter just a huge, huge part of, I mean, most of the teams that he's been able to come on. Like I said, last year, maybe a couple of stutter steps, but this season, this seems to be like the Gamehunter of lore that we're used to seeing. With that said, a lot of Torpedo have also picked it up. Really enjoying what we're seeing out of Moax here. I think there's a visible, tangible improvement from day number 1.
Yeah, we didn't see him get first blooded like he did against Cringe Crew earlier on in the last set. He's able to transition into these team fights, found some really nice double pulls, especially after that triple dash in the mid lane coming out of Murrdurr as well. All of Torpedo need to keep playing like this if they want to keep winning.